What is going on, everybody? I am Rob Westerman, the third of GBP Daily, and thank you for tuning in to the Rob Westerman Show. You can find me all over the social sphere at GBP Daily. Shoot me a follow, subscribe to the YouTube channel. I would greatly appreciate that. The button is right there. It is free. I would greatly appreciate that. Hit me up in the DMs. I am always available to talk Packers anytime, any day. And today is Wednesday, January 28th. Happy Wednesday. Happy hump day for all those who celebrate, right? And as far as the Packers goes, we talked about Jonathan Gannon already this week, the Packers defensive coordinator hire. And just this morning, the Packers hired Bobby Babich from Buffalo as our DB's coach. So Gannon starting to solidify his coaching staff that he will have around him. And by all accounts, mainly from the football experts, the former players from Bobby Babich's tenure, this was apparently a great hire. And we obviously won't know until this upcoming season if that will come to fruition. But I will go along and say I love this hire. In other news, Micah Parsons was seen on a stationary bike getting some rehabbing in. So looks like everything is going pretty well on that front. We've talked about how he plans to be back by around week 3 or 4 this upcoming season. And even if he is, I don't see him back to a regular snap count until probably midseason. So we all know the Packers will be extra cautious in bringing him back up to speed because he is their most valuable possession outside of Jordan Love. So I would not expect to see him back to full-time playing until about the halfway point of the 2026 year. Other injury news, Tucker Kraft, he is expected to be ready by week 1, as we've talked about, and Zach Tom, who reportedly was planning on having surgery on his partially torn patellar tendon, will be rehabbing up until training camp. So we'll obviously be monitoring his progress as well. Not much else going on. Nothing else too crazy happening in the Packers world outside of the fact that the GMs of both teams in the Super Bowl both used to be on the Packers staff. And that's a little painful, right? Elliott Wolf, the GM of the Patriots, he was actually in the running to become our next GM until the Packers ultimately decided to go with Gutekunst. So right now, seems like maybe we missed out and should have went with Wolf, but trying to compare the jobs that they both have done and include all the circumstances that have happened during their time as GMs is pretty much impossible. So nonetheless, congrats to Elliott Wolf, former Packer, and John Schneider, the Seahawks GM, for getting their teams to the big game. We will see who comes out on top in about a week and a half. So anybody planning to go to maybe a Bucs game this year? I know the Giannis news probably isn't very inspiring, but what about a Brewers game this summer? Maybe a Badgers basketball game? Any game for that matter. Any concert for that matter. Do not buy your tickets anywhere else other than TickPick. They guarantee the cheapest tickets on the market, and if you find cheaper tickets elsewhere, they will refund you 110% of your money back. Same tickets as everybody else. StubHub, SeatGeek, VivintMaster, Ticketmaster, Game Time, you name it. And TickPick is the cheapest every single time. Shout out to TickPick. They are the best in the biz. Let's hop into the comment section here, shall we? And as always, if you want to be a part of the show, give me a call on the Nicolet Law hotline, 319-242-2332, the Midwest personal injury law firm that actually shows up when you need them. If you have been hurt in a crash, fall, or another accident, the last thing you want to deal with is the insurance companies and paperwork. Nicolet Law takes it off your plate so you can focus on healing up. And they just joined the chat. It's perfect timing. They walk you through your options. They handle the insurance companies and fight to get you what is fair. No upfront fees, no guesswork. just local attorneys who have your back and local attorneys who hop in the chat here on Instagram. Call 1-800-NICOLET or visit nicolet.com. What do we got going on in the chat? And as I just said, if you want to be a part of the show, give me a call on the Nicolet Law hotline, 319-242-2332. Riley starting us off. Bobby Babbage? I think so. It's all right. Impossible to really. And yeah, as we just talked about, Babbage is our new defensive passing game coordinator and secondary coach. He's got 14 years of NFL coaching experience. He's been the Bills defensive coordinator for the past 2 years, and he actually interviewed with the Packers for our DC position before we chose to go with. So, to be honest, I'm not entirely sure why he is downgraded so far as a coaching position goes, but regardless, we've got someone coming in with a ton of experience, helping out, round out Jonathan Gannon's staff. Everything that I've seen online, from the football experts to the former NFL players that played under him, are saying it is a great hire. So doesn't mean obviously all that much until we see the product that is put on the field this upcoming season. But overall, it's looking like a pretty popular move. So I will hop on board and say, yeah, it's a great hire. And we'll hopefully get a lot more turnovers than we did this past year. Thank you, Riley, for hopping in the chat. Appreciate you as always. What else we got? Lisa hopping in here. Josh Jacobs. I've seen more and more talk about him being a cut candidate. Lisa, I've seen that too. And I wouldn't be entirely shocked if that happened, but I don't think it will. Josh, I think standards, and I'm sure especially his own, had a down year this past season. I kind of have some leeway there because I think we can put a lot of that blame on our offensive line. Our offensive line is one of those groups that I confidently can say ruined our season, and that, I think, is putting it lightly. They were just so bad, and it hurt Josh. It hurt Jordan. Whenever he tried to drop back, we couldn't block anybody up front, and when that's the case, it's hard to get a running game going, which pretty much happened every single game. We didn't really get into a rhythm with the run game. It was pretty sporadic, but I don't think it's a crazy conversation, but I don't think it'll happen. And no offense to Emmanuel Wilson, but I don't think he's a starting back for us. Chris Brooks, Marshawn Lloyd, who has only played 10 snaps in his 2-year career. We just don't have the dogs to justify getting rid of Josh Jacobs. So I have seen those conversations, but I don't think it's going to happen. So thank you, Lisa. What else we got? My man Nick in the house. I feel like Miami might be the only team preventing us from re-signing Quay Walker. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Jeff Hafley continued to lure Packers players and or coaches like he has already to Miami. I would like to see Quay back. I know he's gets a lot of criticism, but I would like to see him back. I feel like him and Edgerrin make up a pretty good duo at the linebacker spot. So hopefully that doesn't happen, but I could see the possibility of it might happen. So also, what would your thoughts be if we drafted a kicker late in the draft? I like the kid from Ole Miss. I don't care what we do for kicker as long as it is not Brandon McManus. I am over the McManus experiment. The playoff game, you miss a 44-yarder. You miss the 50-some-yarder before half, and that's fine. But you follow all that up with the point, which came down to be huge in that game, all three of those kicks. What did we lose by? 4? And, yeah, left 7 points on the board. So if that doesn't angry, then I'm not sure what will. But, yeah, I'm fine with it for sure. Prioritizing special teams is something the Packers have not done in probably 2 decades. And we've seen it, bite us in the butt here in the playoffs especially. So hopefully that will change moving forward. But I honestly don't think it will, unfortunately. Rich Bisaccia seemingly still is our special teams coordinator. So I would be a fool to expect anything different from what we've seen the last couple of years. So thank you, Nick. Appreciate you. What else we got? Eli, will we be active in free agency? I don't think so. We're pretty strapped at the moment as far as money goes, right? Not much can be done really to free up enough space to, make free agency interesting for us. They could be on the bottom end, maybe try to get a diamond in the rough. But yeah, I would not expect any notifications to be popping off during free agency this year, which is fine. I'm all good with going back and building through the draft. Hopefully get a couple starters from it, and mainly along the offensive line and at corner, and kind of run it back with our squad that will hopefully stay healthier than we did this past year. So we were right there. We were rolling, up until that Denver game, and the injuries just became too much. Tucker, Elton, Micah, obviously, Devontae Wyatt, Jaden missing part of the year, Christian missing part of the year, Jordan missing games, Josh Jacobs missing games. I mean, everybody. Zach Tom missing the end of the season, Dontavian Wicks. It just, the injuries, Nate Hobbs, the injuries became just too much to overcome. And yeah, we saw it against the Bears, which makes the 21-3 lead that much more impressive. And the collapse, not surprising with what we were dealing with. So thank you, Eli, for hopping in. Have yourself a great Wednesday. Excuse me, Flash Boy in the chat talking about Bobby Batchich. It is a very valid question, but why did the Bills let him go if he is good? I talked about it earlier. I'm not entirely sure. I haven't done as much reading as I will be doing here today and tomorrow about it, on why he is doing a coaching downgrade. Of course, being a defensive coordinator the past 2 years, I know he was with McDermott, who was fired. So maybe I forget who their new guy is. They want to bring in their own staff. So Batchich is looking for a new home. So hopefully that's the case. But I'm all in. I'm all for it. If the Packers are doing it, I'm in for it. So, all right, guys, that is going to do it for me today. Thank you again for tuning in. Always, always, always love talking Packers with you guys. Hit me up on social media at GBP Daily. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. It is free. The button's right there. I would greatly appreciate that. Any sort of interaction that helps myself, it helps the page. I will be back and at it again tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday, and I will catch you guys later. Thank you.